Okay, Algebra 2 Final Standard Video Review number 4. The bill for a bike repair costs $105 for the part, $25 per hour labor. How much will it cost if the repair takes 4.5 hours? So, cost. So the unit of cost goes with hours. Okay. Not parts, not a unit, because there's only one of them. Okay. Y. So per, and then dollars per hour we know is 25. Yes, I know probably 95% of you could solve this just in your head. That's fine. You can do so. Okay, it's $25, so it is a linear function. Okay, and remember, linear functions we add to the initial amount, and then mx is a slope, and then y, because a line has a slope. So we have 105, so your m is 25, and you had a prior amount of 105 for the one part. So the equation is 105 plus 25x equals y. And 4.5 hours, well, guess what? That's an x value. So that will be going in for the x. So I'm just going to replace that and put a 4.5 above it. So y's got one answer. It's by itself. Just plug it in. So 105 plus 25 parentheses 4.5 is 217.50. Okay, now it says if you pay a total of $180, how many hours they spend working on it. So I would have this very same equation, but now $180 would go in for not the x, but the y. Okay. See, once I have that equation, I can do anything with it. So I would, x has one answer, just get it by itself because it's not. So 25x equals 75, and then I divide by 25. And I get 3 as my answer. So 3 hours. Okay, next one. Juggler tosses the ball into the air. The ball leaves the juggler's hand 4 feet from the ground at an upward velocity of 40 feet per second. The juggler catches the ball when it falls back to a height of 3 feet. How long is the ball in the air? So how long means I am determining the number of seconds. So seconds would coexist with feet. So x is seconds, y is feet. Okay, feet per second. The feet per second is 40. Okay. And a ball goes up, comes down. That's parabola. So it's gravity pulling the ball back down. So negative 16x to the second power plus 40x. Now it left his hand from 4 feet, so plus 4 equals y. All right, now he falls back to a height of 3 feet, so you got to put 3 feet into the equation. And 3 feet is a y value. It'd be nice if it was an x value, then I could just plug it in, but it's y. Okay, we've got 2 answers for the x variable, and we have x second and x, so we need to move this 3 over here. So negative 16x to the second plus 40x plus 1 equals 0. Before you can use your factoring, you have to clear this one side of the equation. So there's 3 terms. So GCF and the T-chart. T-chart's not going to work, you can pretty much tell. There's a GCF though, because you can divide them all by 1, but it's negative, so you got to factor out the negative with the 1. So we have positive 16x squared, negative 40x, and negative 1. Okay, so again, we take a times c from here. So 16 times negative 1 is negative 16, difference of 40. Okay. Well, the conundrum there is that's not even possible. Okay. All right, so it's quadratic formula time. So the opposite of b is 40, square root, parentheses second minus these 3. So b negative 40 4, A is 16, and C is -1. Okay. Now on bottom we got 2 and 16. So I've got 40 and 32. Then I'm going to figure out my square root. So -40 close, second power it, -4 close, 16, -1. 40.79. So I take 40 plus 40.79 equals, divide by 32, and that's 2.52. Okay, and then 40 minus 40.79 equals, divide by 32, and that's -0.02. Okay, so 2.52 makes much more sense. Okay, I got that one out of the way. That's kind of a longer one. Okay, a town's population is decreasing by about 4% each year. A town currently has 4,000 people. After how many years will the population be down to 2,500? So years is the answer here. This is going to work a little bit different than the last one reviews you've had. So years is a unit, and that interacts with people. Years is X, people's Y. So people per year. Okay, people per year. Now there is no people per year, but it's decreasing. It's -4%. Well, that's a percent, so it's not a straight line. It's a curve, okay? Now technically it'd go like this, but I like to stay consistent when I'm diagramming these problems. So I have the initial amount, and from there I will be multiplying instead of adding by the growth factor, which will be our percent, to the power of X, because it's repeated every year, equals Y. Again, the reason why it's mx and not m to the x power on a line is because you're repeating addition. Well, when you repeat multiplication, it goes to exponent. So I have 4,000 at the beginning here. Growth factor, I take 100% and take away 4. And that is 96%. So the growth factor, it's called a decay actually, is 0.96. So I have 4,000 times 0.96 to the x power equals y. Okay, now 2,500, that's people. Okay, so that should not go in for x. That is going to go in for the y. So you're solving for x, okay? And there's only one answer, but the x is a power, so we want to circle it in the base. And I know that x power is always, whatever the power is equal to the quotient of the logs. So I know that 0.96 goes on bottom. Now, I don't know what goes on top because I have to undo the multiplication by 4,000. You don't subtract, okay? It's times. The opposite of times is to divide. So 2,500 divided by 4,000, 0.625. And then punching that ratio in gives me how many years it approximates it. There is a way to use trial and error with this, but I'm not going to teach it the video. If you're that interested, you can come see me. Okay, I got 11.5. Okay, that trial and error might take a while. So it's between 11 or 12. 11, 12 years. Okay, next one. Sports equipment store is having a sale on soccer balls and soccer bags. A coach purchases 10 soccer balls and 2 bags for a total cost of $155. Balls cost $9.50 more than the bag. Calculate the cost of each item. So I want to know the balls, how much they cost, and the bags, how much they cost. So you can clearly see I'm buying 2 units and spending money while I do so. Hence, it's 3 units. together. Again, I like together better. Okay, and then I've got balls, bags, and then total. How many? Kind of going out of order here, but we've done this so many times. Okay, first off, cost for a single unit. Balls, I don't know. Okay, don't know how much they cost. Bags, I don't know how much they cost. The only thing I know about how much they cost for a single unit is that the ball is $9.50 more than the bag. Okay, and you don't sell a single unit together. One is one. Okay, so there's that more than. Okay, so I want to use X plus 950 and X. The balls would be X plus 950, and these would be X. Don't know them, but when I know one's more, that's fine. Okay, how many? Balls, well, there's 10. 2 bags. And I mean, I guess you can add them and put 12, but it doesn't really make a difference because down here, my total, I know that's 155. Okay, so I have 2x. 10 times x is 10x, and 10 times 9.50 is 95. Okay, so I've got 10x plus 95 plus 2x equals 155. So I add my x's because they're on the same side. Don't minus 2 from both sides. That's like cardinal sin. Okay, and then I subtract 95, subtract 95. 12 times x is 60. Divide by 12, and I get 5. Okay, so bags cost $5. Now, get the other answer, you just add 950 to it. That's $14.50. Okay, so okay, next one. A recreation center charges non-members $4 to use a pool and $5 to use a basketball court. A person pays $42 for 12 trips to the facilities. How many times did the person use each facility? So we want to find how many times you went to the basketball courts and how many times this dude went to the pool. So I have money, and that's being spent on 2 things, basketball and pool. So again, 3 units. Total, how many, single. Okay, and by the way, I want to start putting together. I got to get out of that habit. I know it's kind of late in the year for that. B-ball and pool. Okay, cost for a single unit. Well, basketball, I actually know that's $5. Pool, I'm giving that, it's $4. Now, you don't really go one time to both of them. You got to pay for one or the other, so we're taking that out. Okay, how many? So the only non-money amount I see is 12, but it just says 12 trips to the facilities, so that's the together. And when I know the together, but I don't know the individual, I have to use X and I have to use Y. It's not the more than you can do. When you don't know 2 things and it's a more than, you can do that. So your total amount, you are going to have $42. So 5x and 4y. Okay, so I know x plus y equals 12, and I also know 5 times x plus 4 times y equals 42. And again, you do that, subtract your first answer from 12. We've done that so many times, I'm not going to take the time to do it. Okay, I currently owe the bank money for a loan. I pay it back in the same amount each month. After 24 months, I still owe $38,360. After 48 months, I still owe $26,720. How many months will it take to pay off the loan? So I'm finding the months. Okay, so months coexist with money, and it's just those 2. So that's X, that's Y. So the cost per month, I don't know, but when I pay back the loan, it's the same amount. That's how they pay back loans most of the time. So Y minus Y over X minus X. Yeah, that'll work, because after 24 months I know I owe this, and after 48 months I owe this, so I'm in good shape to use that to find that. Okay, so y minus y, I would take, actually, I'm going to take 38,360 and subtract 26,720. You can't see those, that's me subtracting them, and that would be 24 minus 48. Okay, the bottom's negative 24, so I take 38,360 minus 26,720. I got 11,640. Okay, so I divide that by negative 24, and that's negative 485. So every month I am paying 485 off the loan, because the amount you owe gets smaller the more you pay. Okay, so it's dollars. It's a straight line. XY plus MX and Y. Okay, so the M we know is negative 485. But I have no idea how much we started with on the loan, so that would be where I use Y equals M times X plus B. So my M is negative 485. We know that. Okay, and then combo. I'll use 24 months and 38,360. So Y is the dollar unit, so at this point that was 38,360, and it got down to that because I had done 485 for 24 months, so times 24. Okay, so 38,360 equals, and I need to take negative 485 times 24, and that's negative 11,640 plus B. Okay, and then I add 11,640 plus 11,640, and believe it or not, that ends up at the nice round number of 50,000. So I took out a $50,000 loan, paying it back $485 a month. That'd be like a house payment. Okay, so $50,000 is my borrowed amount, but every month I'm paying back $485. X equals Y. And $0 would be a Y value. So we have one answer. So I subtract. So negative 485x equals negative 50,000. Then I divide by negative 485. And I get my answer. About 103 months, okay? Now you got to understand, that's like a house amount, okay? Now again, if you wanted to find a more kind of logical answer, you could figure out how many years that is. It'd be between 8 and 9, okay? So that's, we're talking high dough there. Okay, and then my last problem. An online music store sells 4,000 songs each day when it charges $1 per song. For each 5-cent increase in price, 80 fewer songs per day are sold. This will raise revenue for a while, but there's going to come a point where the revenue starts to go down because, keep in mind, less people are buying. How many price changes should the store stop changing the price, and what will the maximum revenue be? So I'm finding the maximum revenue. On a maximum problem, you just make that, and you also write a note. It is opposite of, you'll be using this formula, not the quadratic formula, not the song. I don't know how many times I could say that, so I'm finding the top. Opposite of B divided by 2A, and then to find the Y, we just replace X in the equation on the calculator. Okay, so you need to write the revenue formula. Revenue is the dollars charged times the number of items. Okay, and these, So revenue is Y. Okay, so dollars, I got $1.05. Those go together. So I started charging $1. And then I add a nickel onto the price, but I don't know how many nickels are being added to the price because it goes over and over. And that needs to be multiplied by the items sold. Now the items sold are 4,000, but if I raise it a nickel, I'm going to subtract how many I sell. It's more expensive, 80. I don't know how many 80s are being subtracted. It's not just once, okay? All right, so now I need to come up with an A and a B out of this mess. So A and B. That C, don't really need it. So I FOIL, I take 1 times 4,000. I will be taking 1 times negative 80x, not just 80x, or the problem's going to be wrong. I take 0.05x times 4,000. And I take 0.05x times negative 80x. Okay, that's 4,000. It's negative 80x. Multiply those, it's going to be, it's 200. Okay, 200x. Multiply those, it's negative 4 with x to the second. So negative 4 is your A. You add these, that's 120, that's B, and then 4,000. Okay. Opposite of B, negative 120. 2, negative 4. So that's negative 8, and I divide, I get 15. So that's how many 5-cent increases happen from the dollar. Okay, now find out how much money that makes me if I'm running my business. Okay, so negative 4 and then 15 to the second plus 120 and then 15 plus 4,000. 4,900. And that is your maximum revenue.